What's up, guys? Popplay Pigs for Life here, and today we're back with another episode of Samurai Sanctuary in Planet Zoo. Not much has happened off camera. We did get quite a lot of snow here. Yeah, oftentimes, like, the snow, like, when you first load into a zoo and it's covered in snow, it, like, blinds you for a second. But yeah, one thing's for sure, this is a far cry from my home in Massachusetts, where we've barely been getting any snow up here in New England. It's very festive, especially in these cold winter months. The snow makes it a tiny bit of fun, because, you know, it's nice, it's fun to play in the snow. You know, you could go sledding, you can make a snow fort, and get to snowball fights. Last episode we worked on Lake Cherry Blossom. We've got some beavers over here. We've also got some raccoons. There's a raccoon. Excuse me. Little trash panda himself. Even though they're not related to pandas. We've got the moose. Absolutely majestic. And then right over here, we have got the moor leopards. So pretty. Man, so this zoo is looking great so far, I must say. Today, we're going to move on to our final section of the zoo, which is the Panda Village. So this is probably gonna take like 2, maybe 3 episodes to complete this whole Panda Village. So I think a great way to get started is with the pandas, because I mean they own like this whole farm, I guess. Or well, that's the idea, is that this is a small little farming village where the pandas live, and they own like lots and lots of animals. So as you can see, I really jumped the gun when it comes to adding foliage and enrichment for the pandas. As well as hard shelter. These are the houses that they live in. So yeah, and then lots of crop beds. Okay, so right over here, instead of having the strangler's figs, we're going to have regular fig trees, which is great because, you know, fig trees, I guess. But yeah, so so we had to get rid of the strangler fig trees, but instead we can have regular fig trees now. Okay, so right here, in replacement of the banana palms and the Brazil nut trees, I'm going to put a few rows of tomatoes. As you guys know, I'm Italian, and my grandfather every year grows a huge garden with lots of tomatoes, and at the end of every summer, there we go. So at the end of every summer, he and my grandmother, they pick the tomatoes and they jar them, so that way in the winter, my grandmother can make a homemade tomato sauce for pasta. That's how you know we're Italian, because, like I mentioned in a previous video, we eat lots and lots and lots of pasta. So we got a few rows of tomato plants. Okay, so before we move on to our next animal, let's take a quick break to watch our adorable giant pandas as I share some facts about them. Okay, so for starters, a lot of people associate pandas with being incredibly lazy. The reason behind this is because of their diet. You see, a panda's digestive system is specialized for digesting meat, much like other mammalian carnivores. However, pandas eat, well, anything but, well, in particular, they eat lots and lots of bamboo, which doesn't contain the right amount of nutrients for a panda. So as a result, they often have to conserve very little energy they get from their insufficient diet by limiting movement and body function. Okay, so this next fact is focused more on bears in general. So there are 8 different species, or main species, of bears, and then there are some species, such as the brown bear, that have several different subspecies, such as the grizzly bear, the Himalayan brown bear, the Eurasian brown bear, and yeah, so I'm not gonna get into that right now, maybe in a future Planet Zoo video, but anywho, and so many people associate bears with being carnivores, and while it is true that all bears are formidable predators, they also eat a lot of plant material, such as berries, nuts, seeds, and much more. In fact, out of all 8 main species of bear, 6 of them are omnivores, with the only 2 exceptions being pandas, which eat only plants, as well as the polar bear, which eats only meat. This is also the case with the red foxes, which, as you can see here, our foxes that we got 2 episodes ago already had babies! Man, so adorable, these things. Red foxes are undoubtedly excellent hunters, being able to catch birds, rodents, rabbits, fish, and many other small animals, but they also eat their fair share of plant material, such as berries, nuts, fruits, and seeds. Moral of today's video, make sure to eat a well-balanced diet. Okay, so next we're going to move on to the peafowl and Babirusa habitat. Now, normally, these 2 animals wouldn't live together in the wild. However, I know several zoos that let their Indian peafowls just casually roam around in the zoo. For example, the Franklin Park Zoo. I remember I was younger, we used to go to the Franklin Park Zoo all the time. And, well, not as much as the Stone Zoo, but that's besides the point. And they used to let their Indian peafowls just roam around the zoo. So it really isn't the end of the world if these 2 animals share a habitat together. Plus, they're from the same continent and the same, biome. So, they just live in 2 different areas of said continent, which, of course, is Asia. So yeah, enough talking. Let's get right into it. Alrighty guys, so from here on out, all the habitats that we do in this video are going to be time-lapsed. So because of that, when we do each habitat, I'm going to share some animal facts during said time-lapse. So, starting with the Babirusas. So, the Babirusa is very relevant in many Indonesian cultures, which is where they live. They live in Indonesia, on several islands. The species in particular that is in Planet Zoo is from the island of Sulawesi. So obviously they're best known for their unique tusks that are often used for combats between rival males. And these tusks are a huge inspiration for many demons and evil spirits in many Indonesian cultures. In fact, there have also been depictions of Babirusas found in cave art that archaeologists believe to be 35,000 years old. So these guys have been around for a while. Okay, and so moving on to the Indian peafowl. So I can't quite remember if I mentioned this in Augustus Zoo in the episode where we got the Indian peafowl, but the term peafowl is the name for the entire species, whereas the term peacock, which a lot of people refer to peacock as the entire species, peacock is the name of the male individual of the peafowl. And so a peacock is a male, a peahen is a female, and a peachick is a baby. And so, speaking of baby peafowl,
So a peahen will usually lay between 3 and 7 eggs in a single nest. However, in order to keep predators away, such as dholes, jackals, and mongoose, she'll often lay several unfertilized eggs away from the nest. So these decoy eggs are meant to trick predators into thinking that, well, this is where her nest is. I remember hearing that, like, as a child, like, when I went to a petting zoo with my family, and I remember hearing that fact because there were peafowl at the petting zoo. And peafowl are, like, super common to have in captivity because, in a way, they're just like chickens and turkeys and other domesticated fowl. In fact, I actually learned this in Spanish class last year, but the Spanish term for peacock, which is pavo real, it directly translates to royal turkey. So pavo in Spanish is turkey, and pavo real is royal turkey. So yeah, so that's the exact translation. So yeah, they are in many ways much like domesticated birds. And so that's why they're probably super common in many farms and petting zoos. Oh yeah, and also in medieval times, people used to eat peacocks, so there's also that. Alright, so here's the Peafowl and Babirusa enclosure. I'm honestly, like, for an indoor habitat, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I also, like, especially really like how the mud bath and the forage box are sort of a hidden and, like, partially submerged in with the foliage. That's kind of cool. As well as the heaters that are on the wall instead of, like, hidden in the ground is where I, like, usually put them. And, like, I got the I moved some of the like, enrichment and, like, feeders around. Like, they were all, like, over here, but I decided to move them. So, like, already the peafowl had babies, so that's great. And so, yeah, like, they're right up against the wall. Oh no, oh gosh, hang on, too much stuff is going on. And then right over here, there's a little area where they can sort of hide away from guests and get all nice and comfy. And don't worry, it's extremely warm over here. Alright, so now the next animal we're going to add in is the Southern Cassowaries. I mean, I wouldn't see why they would need to, like, have Southern Cassowaries. Honestly, I really just wanted, like, a chance to, like, use the animal. We will use it in a future zoo as well. But yeah. So yeah, but first we need to do some quick path work. Alright, so moving on to the Southern Cassowaries. So, for starters, a lot of people have established at this point that birds are the direct descendants of dinosaurs. So, in fact, birds themselves classify as dinosaurs because they branched off from the dromaeosaur family, which includes Velociraptor, Utahraptor, Atrociraptor, as well as many more, but for whatever reason, those three just roll off the tongue. And so the Southern Cassowary, in my opinion, really resembles those dinosaurs. So much like raptors, they have a really sharp claw on each of their inner toes, and while it isn't as curved and pronounced and sickle-shaped, much like the raptors, it's still a very deadly and formidable weapon. And so, as you can see, right here, I'm using the leaf bedding as sort of like leaves that have fallen from the trees. I figured that out when I was building Augustus Zoo with the ape house. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, you can tell by the music in the video that this area of the zoo is meant to be very like busy. Like it's meant to be like very busy and frantic, but also like cheery, happy-go-lucky, like adventurous. So like busy yet happy and adventurous. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention the crest on the cassowaries reminds me a lot of the oviraptors. So like Oviraptor, Gigantoraptor, Corythoraptor. Yes, I've been watching Prehistoric Planet lately. Okay, I watched the first 2 episodes over break because my mom got Apple TV Plus for to watch Charlie Brown Christmas, and every time I would see them watching Charlie Brown Christmas, I would say, yo, there's this really awesome documentary called Prehistoric Planet, and we can all see why it's super awesome. Like, my family loves it, I love it. Yeah, it's just a great piece of paleo media. Alrighty guys, so I finished up with the Southern Cassowary enclosure, and much like the last habitat, this actually looks pretty good for an indoor habitat. One thing I did off camera is I added this one last piece of enrichment. It might not really matter to you guys, but for me, like, I always like little details. I don't know why, but like whenever I'm like watching like someone play like Planet Zoo or Jurassic World Evolution 2, and like I fast forward, like I'm always like looking at details that I like may have missed. So yeah, so that's why like in my videos like whenever I watch videos, I like constantly being like updated. Which reminds me, already the Babirusas had babies. Let's see, where are they? Oh, it's a little piglet! He's so cute! Oh, it's so precious! You can tell by now that I love pigs. Pigs are adorable. As you've probably been able to tell from the very first video that I've ever made, because you know the channel is a pig. And so one thing I noticed is that sometimes the plants overlap, like you can like sort of see them on the outside, but honestly, like, it makes it look like they're like vines and like moss and like other foliage like that have like grown on the side of the building. So in a way, it kind of like makes the building look like old and worn down, which I honestly kind of like that. Alright, so today I'm pretty sure that we have time for, I'd say like one more habitat. Yeah, we'll have time for one more habitat. Who knows, maybe we'll even have time for another. But for now, let's just state that we'll have time for one more habitat. Oh yeah, also, I added this water temperature regulator. Probably won't be needing it anymore, because it was for the Indian Peafowls and Babirusas. Probably won't be needing it though. There we go. Perfect. Nice little bamboo grove. Alright, so yeah, we've got a little bit more work to do for these next two habitats or I should say 3 habitats, because I completely forgot we also have doll sheep. But right now we're going to work on the fallow deer and red deer enclosure. So now I have a little bit more work that I need to do for this habitat, but it's gonna contain both the fallow deer and the red deer, because if we go into the Zoopedia, they can cohabit with each other, or well, they have that interspecies bonus, again using Planet Zoo and Jurassic World Evolution 2 interchangeably here. So let's see, fallow deer, red deer, and vice versa. Perfect. So I've gone to my fair share of zoos where you can, like, get food to, like, feed the deer. I did something similar to this in my European zoo that I did for the 3-year anniversary special. But the thing is, with the red deer, guests cannot go into the habitat. So that's a bit of an issue. But at the same time, I don't want to make it, like, a plain box. I want to make it, like, unique, per se. So yeah, I guess the big thing I need to do is I need to just experiment with it. So yeah, enough further talking. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so I tried experimenting with the habitat. I tried adding, like, a boardwalk, and, like, that's pretty much it. I just tried adding a boardwalk, and that's pretty much all that I tried. The boardwalk didn't really look good, so what I decided to go for instead is basically, the idea is, like, the point of view is that you're, like, standing, like, on the edge of a lake, and you look out, and there's, like, fallow deer and red deer, and so, like, it's not meant to, like, have, like, any unique features. It's just that the view is nice. So, yeah, so the plainness can all be forgiven by the really nice view that you get from the path. Alright, so on to the animal facts. So starting with the red deer. The red deer is the largest species of deer in the British Isles, and is the 4th largest deer in the world, being outcompeted by the moose, which we mentioned last video, the American elk, and the sambar deer, which, if I remember correctly, is a species of deer from southern Asia. Okay, so on to the fallow deer. So, many people know that deer are born with white spots, but later lose this pattern as they get older. However, this isn't the case with the fallow deer. So, like all deer, the fallow deer are born with the white spots. However, unlike most deer, they keep that distinct pattern throughout the entirety of their lives, which is pretty neat. So yeah, adding loads of bamboo, like, along the edge of the fence, on the outside. Added a lot of that pre-made, foliage group, that I made in the 3-year anniversary special, and I use it a lot there. Adding lots more bamboo in, like, empty spaces. Oh yeah, I'm just fidgeting with something, so don't mind the noise in the background. I just like fidgeting with, like, little fidget things. I don't really know what they're called, but they're just, like, meant to, like, fidget. So yeah, lots of reeds, especially along the fence, make it look like you're immersed in the lake. I know we have, like, a whole section that's dedicated to, like, a lake, but you know what? This is meant to be, like, a little bit of a pond, in a way. And also, another thing that I realized with Lake Cherry Blossom is that you're not, like, on the, like, you're not on the edge of the lake and looking out onto the lake. Like, some areas, like, you can see the lake, like, especially in the beaver and raccoon enclosure, but you're not on the edge. You're, like, at a distance. So I wanted that sort of, like, on the edge of the lake, like, on the beach, I guess, or not beach, but, like, the, like, sandy part of the lake. I'm also trying to keep the enrichment as hidden as I possibly can to give it a more like natural outdoorsy feel. So yeah, often what I've been doing is I've been putting the enrichment behind the reeds. Did have to add in some extra hard shelter though, so because it wasn't enough for the red deer and the fallow deer. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this habitat. Like I said, adding in loads more bamboo, but also keeping some areas open, like leading up to like habitat doors and stuff. So yeah, trying to make this place look as nice as I can possibly make it. Man, if that's not a good view, I don't know what is. Oh, but I mean, look at this. Like, it makes you really look like you're out on the water fishing, or like on the edge of the water, whatever. But, man, like, this view of the pond, like, I shouldn't really call it a lake, it's more of a pond, but the view is incredible. And, like, looking at the trees in the background are stunning. Up and prairie dogs dying, I guess. They don't really live for too long. And then right over here, you can actually get a really good view of the deer. Like, especially when they're over at this enrichment and heading into the hard shelter. Up, but hang on. Hang on. Pause. Pause everything, because pause everything. Where are they? Hang on. Baby panda! Look at it! He's so fluffy and so cute! Well, actually, it's a she. But she's so fluffy and she's so cute! Oh, hello, panda! Oh my gosh, so adorable! Oh, look at it! Look at the little noises she makes! Or, well, I guess hear them. But, oh my gosh, it's so cute! Oh, so adorable. Alright, so don't worry, we've got someone to take care of the dead animals in the enclosures. But yeah, I think that is going to wrap up today's episode. Man, we got a lot done with the pandas and both indoor enclosures and even starting one of the livestock enclosures. Or, well, so they're meant to represent. But man, I am so proud of what we accomplished in today's video. Because we got a lot done. So we pretty much only need one more video. And that, well, two more videos. One more building video and the final tour. So the only animals we're missing are both species of mountain goats. We're going to have the ibex and we're going to have the Dall sheep. And then the pastures. One is going to be for bison, American bison. One is going to be for the Przewalski's horse and the Bactrian camel, and the other one is going to be for the caribou, or reindeer. More on that in that video. But yeah, so that is pretty much it for this episode. Really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If so, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see some more Minecraft, Planet Zoo, and Jurassic World Evolution 2 content. And I will see you guys next time. Peace out.